Hi there and welcome to our second edition of the Artist Space, the art show from the Christine Sheridan Agency. In this episode we'll be looking at the Arts Council's show Into the Light. Emmy award-winning production designer Gemma Jackson. We'll also be taking a look at the rise of tenor Noel O'Grady, and we'll be popping in to the Little Museum of Dublin to take a look at what's on there. We'll also have a new guest sitting in the artist's chair. Enjoy. British Oscar nominee and Emmy award-winning production designer Gemma Jackson has worked on films like The Borrowers, Bridget Jones's Diary and Finding Neverland. As lead production designer on the Belfast-based production of Game of Thrones, Jackson has the challenging job of designing, building and dressing the amazing sets used in the series, for which she won a Creative Arts Emmy Award last September. No stranger to Ireland, Gemma's worked as set designer at the Project Arts Centre in the late 70s with brothers Jim and Peter Sheridan. It was a golden era of theatre and performance in Dublin, with provocative and edgy social drama fostering a wave of new writers and actors including Liam Neeson, Gabriel Byrne and Neil Jordan. Gemma went on to work as art director on Jordan's films The Mona Lisa and The Miracle. Look out for Gemma's fantastic sets in the third series of Game of Thrones, which will air in March. Into the Light is the title of a series of exhibitions planned to celebrate the 60th birthday of the Arts Council. Since 1962, the Council's acquired over 1,000 works of art by some of Ireland's leading visual artists. The work was purchased as a way of supporting artists and promoting public interest in the arts. So now we'll all have an opportunity to see some of that unique collection, which will include the work of Louis Le Brocq, Patrick Scott, Robert Balla and Camille Souter. There'll be 4 exhibitions taking place in the Crawford Art Gallery, Cork, the Hugh Lane in Dublin, Limerick City Gallery of Art and the Model in Sligo, and will form a major national showcase of works by over 100 artists from the collection. For more information on Into the Light, you can go to their website at www.artscouncil.ie. Tenor Noel O'Grady was brought up in Kerry, surrounded by music and the written word. Having inherited his love of music and singing from his mother, as a child he trained in the church choir in Tralee. Noel's one-man show, The Voice of Joyce and Exile Sings, explores the music from Joyce's work and delivers unrivaled interpretation of the songs and celebrates Joyce's lifelong love of music.
I'll walk beside you through the world today, where dreams and the songs and a summer bless our way. I look into your eyes and hold your hand. I'll walk beside you to the golden land.
You can catch up with the latest news from Noel on noelogrady.ie. Ever find that you could just ream off a list of tourist attractions in your own city without ever having visited them yourself? Well, the Little Museum of Dublin should buck that trend. As you see, this is very much a museum for the people of Dublin, exhibiting items that are donated by the public. Located on number 15 St Stephen's Green by the corner of Dawson Street, the Little Museum of Dublin is well worth a visit to catch up on the real social, cultural and political events that have shaped Dublin throughout the years. Frank McGuinness is a playwright, poet and academic, and he's just published his 5th book of poetry in a town of 5,000 people through the Gallery Press. Well, we started by asking Frank when he began writing poetry.
First thing I ever wrote were poems. I was a teenager at the time. I think I was trying to write song lyrics. I was very influenced by the Beatles and Joni Mitchell. And then I went to college in 1971. I came from Donegal to Dublin. And in 1990, after I lost my very close friend Barbara Haley in a car crash, I wrote an elegy for her, which was published in Poetry Ireland. And that really was the beginning of the bursting of a dam. So now I'm rather amazed to be 20 years later looking at the 5th collection in a town of 5,000 people. At 5 in the morning, I heard the fox, who settled in my garden, have a fight to the death with her own shadow. Her wails an iron cross she'd feed to her cubs instead of her blood. I carry in my shoe the clay of my garden, my feet, two hungry cubs devouring my belly, wailing through my veins, looking for their mother, looking for her blood at 5 in the morning. I felt the same blood run through my veins as I stood alone at my aunt's grave, lamenting her first and last, the weight of her coffin dislocating my shoulder blades. May I take as my tribe the starving vixen's belly, dining on clay, gargling on grief. In battle with our shadows, my weapon an iron cross, dislocating my shoulder blades.